What's up guys, Midwestern RC. Today we're going to be doing like a beginner fire team video. So with the sales from Horizon Hobby and A-Main and everywhere else, local hobby shops, being $400, this is a great deal. These are great machines. So we're just going to kind of show you the capabilities of it first. And then we're going to get right into it. So first off, I gotta say, one of the best batteries you can get for this thing. It's the Gens Ace 6800 milliamp 6S lithium polymer battery. So I'll have a link for that in the description below. These are gonna give you the highest power because they have a good C rating. The C rating is the discharge rate that the battery gives out the power at, if that makes sense. 6800 milliamps, you're gonna have a ton of run time as well. So one of my first beginner tips, if you are brand new to RC and you want to do jumps because you watch a bunch of YouTube videos, here, do this. Learn how to hit the jump first at slow rates of speed. Now, if you need a set of portable ramps because finding a bash spot is hard, check Facebook Marketplace, check offer up. I actually got these for $10, but I've seen them as low as like $40, $50. That's usually the average price. Now I do like two ramps because you can put them side by side, making it a lot wider, and that's going to be much easier for you to hit the ramp. Especially since once you get the hang of it, you're going to be hitting the ramp at higher speeds, and the width of the ramp is going to be even more beneficial at that point. Now usually I bring duct tape and I tape the ramps together. Just make sure the surface is clear. Also, these plastic ramps, if they ever crack, use E6000 glue. I'll put some of that right there on the left. Glue it right back, no issues. So once you get the hang of it, you can kind of do bigger sends. Once you get the hang of it, you can start doing bigger sends. My tip with bigger sends is you never want to leave the ramp going full throttle, because a lot of the times you're going to actually use the throttle to control the truck. If you're going off the ramp like this and it's nosediving, you give it a little gas to level it out. Or if it's going nose up, you tap the brake a little bit to level it back out. So I like to hit the ramps, just focus on the speed, don't focus on the throttle necessarily. So I'll demonstrate that right now, kind of half throttle. Now I'll replay it slowly for you guys. And as you can hear and see in the replay, what I had to do was, I noticed the nose was coming down a little bit, so I had to tap the gas, the throttle, whatever, twice a little bit just to get it to level back out. We're gonna do a little bit of a bigger send now. So that didn't work out the greatest, but I went nose up, so I actually tapped the brake a little bit. It leveled right back down and was fine. Now, where I'm at right now with my plastic ramps, I don't know if you can see this in the video, I'm coming down and that makes it harder. So when I jump this thing and land on flat ground, it's actually a lot easier to control. If you notice, this truck, when I'm landing it, starting to bounce all over the place and everything. Not ideal. But the other thing about my fire team, I've probably put 20 battery packs through this thing. I'm not kidding. I'm not sponsored by Arrma or anybody like that. I have not broken this thing. And it's a basher, and that's what bashing is right there. You're just bashing and smashing around. So now if you don't want to do jumps, these things are a blast to just rip around. They handle incredibly well, especially for a 7 scale. I don't think the shocks need anything. I would just leave the shocks. Now real quick, we're gonna talk about some of the upgrades that I've done to this that makes it more user-friendly. So you notice the wheels and tires are different. I'll have a link for those in the description below. They're from an Arrma Outcast 6S. They're literally called backflips, and they help with air control because the tire rubber and the foam will expand okay? So I'll try to like show that right now. We'll slow-mo that again. And you can see how the truck moved back while the tires were expanding. So that's gonna provide more air control than the stock Fireteam tires. The stock Fireteam tires aren't bad, but these are a much better upgrade, much more grip too. The tread is just amazing. Now another thing that I've done, and I'll put another link for this in the description below, this is a stronger chassis. The EXB, it stands for Extreme Bash, and it's a 7075 aluminum chassis. It's gonna be stronger than the stock one. If you're gonna be sending it, if you're gonna be new to bashing and everything, I don't think the stock chassis is too bad, because I had a Mojave that did this. Oh, and the chassis actually never bent, but it's not a bad upgrade. It's about, I think, $50. I'll put the link right here for that. And it's just gonna be a stronger chassis without sacrificing much weight. Another upgrade or improvement is you take the center diff out, which is really easy to do. And you're gonna fill it with 500,000 diff oil. Now what the 500K in the center diff is gonna do is it's going to supply more power to the back. The lighter the diff oil, the more power bleed to the path of least resistance, which when the truck is going forward and squatting back, the path of least resistance is the front. There's gonna be more traction on the rear. There's gonna be less traction on the front. So more of the power is gonna go to the front. So with 500K, you can go thicker than that. There's 1 million, there's 200 or 20 million. There's actually people that put silicone earplugs in their center diffs. I've never done that on a 6S rig, but I do that on my Arrma 8S rigs. 500K I feel like is good enough for the 6S cars, and it's also gonna help with air control because it's gonna supply more power to the front and back wheels. So we'll get into backflips. So backflips are gonna go about a third to half throttle up to the ramp. The second you see the truck leaving the ramp, you're gonna squeeze the trigger, getting it to rotate midair, and then the goal is to either let off by the time that the truck levels back out so it'll land on all fours. That's generally always the goal, is to land on all fours. Or you do the rotation by grabbing full throttle and then you smack the brake to complete it. But here's a backflip. Very well executed. So I went about half speed, got to the ramp, gave it full sauce, and then I actually used the brake to stop it. A lot of fun. Really expensive when they break. No, there's no tracks around here. So I just, they usually come ready to run, but then there's like modifications and upgrades and a bunch of other stuff you can do to them. So like half of the hobby is like working on them and upgrading them and getting them to do what you want to do, you know. Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge. You as well. All right, that's gonna be another beginner tip. When you're playing with your RC car, ooh, a lawn dart. When you're playing with your RC car, you will get attention from everyone. And just be nice. So I've actually never had a negative experience, surprisingly. I'm generally very, very nice whenever someone's like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Like, I've been to construction sites before that I have to like sneak into. I've had police come up. One time a cop was like, hey, you can't be here. And I was like, oh, okay, like I'll leave. Sorry, I didn't see any signs or anything. And they were really nice. Another upgrade, it kind of goes along with the EXB chassis, is you're gonna wanna get the EXB Mojave center braces. So what that's gonna do is that's going to help stiffen up the entire frame of the RC car, as the stock ones are plastic and they're just not the strongest. It's a really cheap upgrade and it's actually really, really easy to do. If doing a chassis swap intimidates you, I think honestly, you can just run EXP chassis braces and I think you'll be pretty good. All right, let's do some wheelies, shall we? So with 500K in the rear, generally I can probably just give this full throttle and then that's what's gonna happen. So did I say 500K in the rear? 500K in the center diff. That's my fans going, that noise. So what I like to do is I like to roll into it. So you roll into the power, and then once you have some momentum, you start squeezing the throttle. Now I can't get it to wheelie right there, watch. I'm gonna brake and then gas it. I hit a bump right there, the truck flipped. Now, if you've noticed, my truck has flipped and tumbled quite a bit, and it seems like it just lands on all fours. So that's not luck. What's going on back here? Oh, the body panels fall off too on these, honestly. How many times I've bashed and smashed this, I'm surprised as much as is on is still on. But with the tumbling and losing control of the truck, you can get to a point, this is kind of an advanced skill, but it's something I think people should start focusing on and thinking about early on. With RC bashing, you really have to focus on what's going on with the truck. When it starts spinning and tumbling out of control, watch closely. When it's tumbling out of control, you're usually not on the throttle because the spinning is happening. You give it a nice blip like that. You just squeeze the trigger or flick the trigger real quick or tap the brake and the truck will kind of level back out. It does take practice, but I think the earlier you start practicing, the better it's gonna be, because my truck could be all the way out there and it could be tumbling. I don't want it to land on its back, so I could do this little trick. It tumbles, I get it to land on all fours, and I don't have to walk all that way, you know? All right, we're gonna get into front flips now. With front flips, you're gonna go up to the ramp at medium speed, pretty good throttle, and then when you get to the lip of the ramp, you're gonna smack the brake. Now, if we're doing a front flip, I don't have the duct tape here, so I can't stick the ramps together, but I'm gonna put it like that just so I have more of an angle with the lip of the ramp, so then I'll have more height, more hang time, more time to hopefully complete the front flip. Front flips are very tricky, as I don't know how to describe it. They're much harder though, so watch this. Well, we're in LVC, unfortunately. Next video I'll show front flips. Also, another thing that I forgot, I did throw the speed pinion on here. I have a video of that. I'll put a link in the description below on how to install the speed pinion. If you install the speed pinion, and if you're gonna be going on rough terrain, mainly anything but the street, and you're gonna be giving it full throttle rips the entire time, you really should get a set of fans for this thing, as that motor is going to go into thermal cutoff very quickly. If you guys liked the video, please like and subscribe. Drop a comment below on which fire team you got, black or white. We'll do like a little poll or something like that. Until next time, guys, Midwestern RC out.